Well, good morning, everyone. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Welcome to Southeast Louisiana, where the ground is covered in frost. There's ice on the pond, and it's 28 degrees this morning. But never fear. It's supposed to get up to 40 or 45. Yeah, folks, it's a cool one this morning, but we are supposed to get up in the 40s. That's great. All this frost to come off the ground around here, as soon as that sun comes up, which it's up now, that 28 is going to turn into 35 within 30 minutes to an hour. Frost will be gone, and we'll be warming up. But we have had a frigid last 10 days. Only a few days have we got into the mid to upper 40s. The rest of the time it's been the 30s and the 20s. And we didn't quite dip into the teens, but maybe one night, and if we did, it wasn't much. But nonetheless, it's been cool for us. I know a lot of y'all were covered in snow and ice. I know everybody should be coming out of that now. Hope everybody did okay. Bees-wise, nothing really to worry about with the bees. I mean, as long as they were healthy and large enough to cluster, I think all y'all gonna be fine that were reaching out and saying, hope my bees make it. They'll make it. Just like here, I got a couple small ones they may not have because they're just so small. They can't even keep warm, but you know, it does have to be some sort of a cluster to be able to keep warm. But if they've got any ability to cluster, they've got stores around them and they're healthy, they should be fine. I say that not knowing, who knows, we'll see. There's nothing we can do but prepare, right? And we do that in the fall, of course. You guys up north have a whole different preparation plan. You guys got to really put the stores on hard. Here, we just need to put nominal stores on, get through 3 to 4 months of no nectar really, and not even that long, to be honest with you, and off we go. So anyway, there was one that was super weak. It's one of the ones that today we're going to mess with. And when I say mess with, we're going to move them. So what I need to do, because I forgot to charge my Hive Lifter, it hasn't been charged since last summer, and like I literally have not plugged it in since really before the season last summer. And I meant to plug it in last night because, you know, batteries and cold, and it's in that shed there, and it's cold, and it's been in the cold, and it's been in the 20s. That don't mix good with batteries that aren't charged fully. So while I go take care of that, here's a video I shot, or some video I shot before this cold came in, making sure my bees had what they needed food-wise to make it through. And honestly, there might be a few other things on the video. I'm not sure what all's on there, but you know me, it's probably gonna be a lot of discussion. So without further ado, check this out, and I'll be back and we're gonna go move some hives this morning. I got the last of the fondant from Sandy Valley Honey Company, that homemade fondant he made. I shouldn't say it's homemade, it's Matt made. Yeah, I'm gonna go throw the last little bit on some light hives. I should have made bigger bags. I should have put it all in quart bags, but made more in each quart bag. All the pallet bees have new fondant on. We got this cold, cold air coming. They're talking ice and stuff, but I don't think it's gonna get this far south. Joey Rawls may get it, but they're talking Bogaloo's is the line, maybe a little closer. You can see back there, I still haven't done those pallets. I put it off. Actually want to do it this week when it gets really cold, but I don't think we're gonna get the ice they're talking about, but we're still gonna get very, very cold. So I'm adding the last of the fondant to 6 more light hives. All the pallet bees, as I said, have it. I reloaded, even if they were still with some fondant, I reloaded with some Hive Alive, because all I have left of Matt's fondant, I fed the majority of it the first go around. I got a little bit left. Here's all his. It's all kind of settled out, but I'm gonna go put some of these on. The bees love this stuff. They really have taken to it well. They did last year. It's lasting well. It's being consumed at a good rate. So what I'm gonna do is, these all got Hive Alive on them, and I'm gonna go ahead, because I was out of the big batches of his, I'm gonna go ahead and supplement with the small bags, and that should carry them on through the next week or two. That'd be good. It's about 50, between 50 and 55. So I'm gonna go get my cowboy hat veil, and they should be clustered up, and you know, they're not gonna be tightly clustered. They'll still fly during this weather. just here and there, exploratories, cleansing, things like that. But it's been warm the last few days, so cleansing's not an issue. They've been out and about. They've been flying a lot. Yesterday, matter of fact, they were busy. Like, they were bringing in pollen like crazy. The fronts of the hives, I shot a short of it, were just loaded with bees coming and going. So they're still going to be flying now, but not widespread flying. Should be lightly clustered a little bit, but here's the problem. When they're like that, they get ugly when you open the hive, and I can't blame them. But we got another warm day tomorrow, and then we got the freeze coming tomorrow evening. So, and when I say warm, 40s and 50s. Then next week it's going back in the 60s and then dropping again. You know, that's South Louisiana. Well, let's get an idea of what we're dealing with here. Let's just go slow and easy. This is a small colony. They got enough. They got more than enough. Look how small they are. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they're out to here. But they're clusters right here. That should be okay. They'll cluster. I mean, they're obviously not clustered now, but they'll cluster in the cold and be fine. They don't need any. That'll get them the next week. Maybe even 2, as small as they are. Let's look at the next one. I got a couple big ones down here too. So there's like 6 out here. 2 I'm worried about. I'm not worried. That's the wrong word. I'm not worried. 2 I'm concerned with. We'll say that. I don't like to use the word worry. Jesus said, don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about all that. You got enough to deal with today. Does he not clothe the flowers of the field? Take care of the birds of the air? I mean, he clothes those flowers more grand than Solomon. Don't worry. So I don't like to use the word worry. Concern for stores is what I mean. And that's more one single there. The one behind me with that gigantic block on it. Paving, gardening, landscaping stone. And the one we just looked at. Those are 2 I'm concerned about for feed. The rest, they're not necessarily bad off, but not necessarily great. Their issue is they could go, but why not give them something so I don't have to be concerned at all? You know, that's kind of the deal. The rest are super heavy, so I'll just call them intermediates. But this one right there actually is just that they're all up at the top. So that means they're going through stores. So that's why they're getting fondant. So it's starting to sprinkle a little bit, and that's been the issue today. While I wasn't too concerned getting it on there, I knew they'd be all right, at least for a few more days, if not a whole nother couple weeks. But I figured I got everybody else done. The pallet bees, I mainly did them to just give them nutrition. I want them to grow a little faster. And see, these are going through pretty quick. So we're going to throw some smoke to them to get them out of the way. We're going to throw some of this fondant on them because they'll be done with that in the next few days. So what I like to do with something like this is I'll smoke them all down. Just smoke them, get them moving down. And I'll slide this packet over and I'll stick the smaller. See, I got my smoke going good now. That's what we want. They don't want it, but I want it for them. What I'm going to do is I just want to move this over. Come on, bees. Move it over here. Still keep it in the center. Still keep it puffed up where they can get in and out. Then we're going to take another one. I'm going to open it a certain way here. I'm going to take this out. I need a new razor. I got everything I've used so far has been dull. So I can leave that flap on there, but I'm not going to. I'll take that out of the way for now. Gonna leave this on there for them. And we're gonna cut the sides so they can get to the sides. Gosh, this thing's dull. I can flip it actually. I need to flip it. I'm gonna do that in a minute. I'm I'll pull these sides open. Then I'm gonna do what I saw Matt do with his. Do a little cuts on top, especially on this where they can get to it. Okay, that way they can get to it all different ways. But especially they can get to it from the bottom now that I got it open. There we go. That'll take care of those bees. It's raining for real. This isn't a huge one. They haven't eaten a lot. Look at that beetle in there. They haven't eaten much at all. They've got enough. This is a small one. Let's see what these are. These were pretty big, so they may have went on through. Yeah, they went on through. Good sized colony here. Same thing with this one. We're going to smoke them, move it. I tell you, the beetles are awful. The problem with beetles is they're going to live in the cluster and stay alive. So I'm going to lay this here and do the same thing, maybe with a sharper razor this time. To the bees, they don't enjoy you opening it up, especially when it's raining. Oh yeah, that's how it should work. Let's open the edge of it. Let them get in there a little on the edge. Maybe down on this edge. I found they really like to go into it from the sides, these soft bags. Another thing about doing it this way is they can attack it from all sides. As far as beetles getting in there too. Get out of there, bee. I'm sorry about that. So it's supposed to rain like this, off and on, drizzle, and then it's going to turn around and just rain constant tomorrow. Then of course freeze, so that's where they're calling for the ice. I know you guys up north getting a ton of it. This video is obviously going to be late, so this will probably air afterward. Now these here, they're not really, they're just beetle infested, but I don't see these as being a problem with terrible starving. They're just mean, and they're singles. Dirty, rotten, good for nothing. I got my gloves now. Don't make me put my gloves on. It's got stung in the wrist, and I'm gonna give them some smoke ahead of time because they seem. Look at the beetles. This is what's so disheartening. I think the reason these bees are testy is when bees are stressed, like with mites or beetles, they will get ornery because they're stressed. Their population is stressed. And the traps work great, but man, the beetles just keep coming. There we go. Oh, look at the beetles. Gosh, I hate them. We're gonna lay it on like so they can get to that side by that other fondant because they'll be finishing up with this edge. That's kind of how I'm trying to do it. I'm just getting in a rush right now, folks, because it's raining. And this isn't the time to be messing with these bees. And just like that, that's what I did. That's a day of beekeeping for me. Actually, so I went in town, threw some fondant on the one nuke that's kind of light there. Threw some fondant on a nuke at that other yard. Also added a Hive Alive, because I had one of those handy, on another colony at that yard with 3. And all the pallet bees have a fresh Hive Alive on them. They finished up their Sandy Valley fondant, and which has Hive Alive in it, guys, by the way. This has Hive Alive in it that I'm putting on it. And I could have went and put these last 12 on there that I had, but they're not big enough. They're just, I really didn't proportion that stuff right when I cut it up. Lesson learned. Last year I didn't use bags. This year I used bags, but I used the wrong size and didn't cut portions enough. It's just one of them things. Live and learn. I gotta get some grow bags down big time in all of that area. I'm gonna do it in front of all my hives. I used to ground drench with permethrin, and that's Guard Star. They sell it at the Bee Supplies. Now that's what I have to do to those. They produce so good that I just hate to let them freeze. The big one, unless it's a bad freeze, I don't wrap it. But when it's gonna be below 25, I wrap it. Everybody always asks me about that. Is that a lemon tree? Yeah, it's actually rootstock from an old navel orange tree. You know, they make rootstock from a strong lemon. That's a very bitter, nasty lemon. That's why they're everywhere and we don't use them. So the navel died and the rootstock kept growing. You try to pick those, you coming out of there bloody. That thing is full of some of the sharpest thorns I've ever felt in my life. But that's rootstock. So well, what do you leave it there for, Mike? The bees, of course. They love it when it blooms full. Well, that looks a lot better. I got that all taken care of finally. I put it off long enough and it's time to get busy. So the frames are all cleaned and wrapped and ready to go. What I'm gonna end up doing is putting some cardboard down on the bottom of this pallet and then shrink wrapping the whole thing. Just to have standby foundation and frames should I need to wax any. I had waited till it got really cold to finish these because I wanted cold weather, because what you can do is actually, you can even see this one, it didn't all come off, but that's good wax on there. But where there was some old cocoon type of material, you can beat this stuff like really hard and it's brittle and everything snaps out. But yeah, got all that done. That's a big difference. That's a load off my mind. And having a couple hundred frames ready to wax if I need them, you know, I can take a couple bundles out of there, wax them and have, you know, 20 frames ready to go or whatever the case. So got those pretty much cleaned up. But here's what we're doing today. We're just simply going to move 2 colonies. And I'm doing this last minute. I wasn't going to move these colonies until another couple weeks, but shoot, we got the weather. By the time I get ready to move them, it's gonna be the perfect temp, right around 35 to 40 degrees. Yeah, they'll be clustered. I'll shake them a little bit, but they'll be okay. This is a super weak colony with fondant on it. Should have been in that video I just showed, I think. I don't even remember what was in that video. And this one here is gonna get moved because that's a dead tree right there. We were actually forecast to get a lot of ice and we didn't get it. And I was sweating it because this tree just randomly, you can see the branches randomly broke off. Somebody told me in the comments, water oaks, they live for 40 years and die for 40 years. And that is the goodness to gracious truth. These things are terrible. So anyway, it'll just break a limb. And you see this one the other day, I was out here and I was working on, I don't know, some stuff in the bee shed and boom, this thing fell right out here. It was right out here. I pushed it back, but it literally fell right out here. Had them fall right in front. There's more of them. And I wanted to get these moved this summer and just didn't ever do it. And I looked at the branches and said, well, there's not that many left over top of them, but every time we have the wind or any storm, I come running out here sweating it. But not only that, I want these moved because these are just, this was some overflow and like, I got a place for that one. Then there's one way back in the corner back there. The one the other tree fell on a couple years ago. That was supposed to been moved last year, but that yard was sketchy where I had EFB and I didn't want to put anything out there. So I left it. And that's where all these were supposed to go. So anyway, a couple of these didn't make it. And the ones that did, and they're still out here, one's weak. That one's pretty strong. That one over there is good right there. That one's good. That one back in that corner over there is good. And there is one other one. I want to get everything off the ground. These were all like nukes or splits we did that I was eventually going to move to overflow. You can see it behind that pine. That's a strong one. But we're not going to move all of them. We're going to move 3 today. And the reason I'm moving those 3 is I got spots for them in town. And then the other 2, I have a couple homeowners that need a hive by their gardens. So I'm going to do that. So this one's going to move. I don't like all these hives that are just kind of randomly scattered. I want them all on the stands, and that gives me a good number here. Even the pallets down on the tree line, I kind of want to eventually get out of here. I want just my hives here, this stand right here, and then my next door hives. Plus the hives next to the honey house where I keep my little nukes and queens. So let me get moving because it's going to be warm before we know it. Literally, it will take an hour to 2 and we'll be 10, 12 degrees higher. No problem. Honestly, folks, I could probably pick this one up by hand. It's so light. It's got fondant on it and it's so weak. I'm surprised it's even alive. It was alive yesterday. But it's in poor shape. Poor shape. So I'm just gonna practice with this light one, get used to my lift again. I hadn't lifted in a while with it. And get this thing loaded on the truck. Several asked about why or how I broke my rib. I broke it working over the side of the bed on that tire. That's why you see that old man ladder out there. I broke it that same weekend I broke my rib. I ordered that. I said enough. This one we're going to have to pick up from the top box. And I don't know if it's going to pick it up. This thing is still pretty dead. I need to charge the battery. So we're basically hanging it from the top box because the bottom doesn't have good handles. These are new arms from Boris. He traded them out. I don't know if y'all know it or not. I hope y'all got to meet him at the expo that went to the expo. Boris was at the expo. So give me these new arms, and they're a lot stronger and better than my other ones. Yeah, this battery's, it's in dire need of charging. It is barely picking this up. Huh, I think we did it. Look at that. It's hung up on the strap, but we got it on there. I really should have charged that before. It's just about dead. It's barely picking it up, but we got it up there. So talking about this bed of this truck, everybody asks me how I like my Ram. First Ram I ever owned, first Dodge product I ever owned. I love it. But what I don't like about this truck, and it's my fault for getting a short wheelbase, but the short wheelbase is awful when it comes to size. My Ford was, and this sounds like it's minuscule, but it's really not, an inch or two higher, which makes a huge difference with that cover when you put stuff in here. But you can take the cover off, and the length is about 5 inches shorter of the other short wheelbase trucks. And you would be surprised what kind of difference that makes, especially when I have this hitch in here. Now, I'm going to take this hitch out for bee season, but I got one more trip I'd like to go on. The problem is, with this in here, it just restricts everything. Like, I don't even think I can close that with my ladder. I got to slide this over. It's just a pain. Let's just put it that way. And on the beds, all these ridges are in such a way that anything you slide on the bed, and maybe that's by design, so don't slide off of the tailgate, I should say, not the bed, but tailgate, all these ridges cause you to be able to slide nothing on here. My bee box, nothing. So when people do ask me how I like my truck, that's my only complaint, is the design of the Ram bed. It's just not a great design. I will say the Ford outshined this one. The short wheelbase Ford outshined bed design wise this truck all day long. Other than that, this thing, wow, that Cummins, I don't know. It's hard to describe how much I like that truck, that motor. So I'm gonna have to tie these straps up, get everything ready to go, and then we'll be on the way. So I'll get back with you when we're there. There we go. So look at the moisture coming out of the hive. You don't vent the lids on these, you just leave them like that. And what happens is the condensation runs down the sides and the lid, and that's why we tilt our hives forward for the rain and for that. And they manage it. We don't vent the lids, I don't, because they can manage it. The problem is now I'm moving them, and the moisture on this one and on this one, so that's a good sign. It means there's a lot of bees. We're generating a lot of moisture from the humidity, but it's a bad thing when it's cold. You notice I don't have my knit cap anymore because it went up about 15 degrees in an hour and a half, literally. So every 30 minutes, 5 degrees. I mean, great day. It's almost 45 already. We went from 28 to 45 in less than 2 hours. And that's why we have such moisture issues. Let me get this thing out of here before we drown them. But it's gonna get warm today to the 40s, and then we're not supposed to go but to like 32 tonight. So we're actually on a warming trend until the rain comes, then we're gonna cool back off. But I guess my point is, there's a reason why right there our winters are so crazy. We just can't, our bees fly, then they don't fly, then they cluster for a week, then they don't cluster, and they generate a bunch of moisture because the heat is here, the heat is there. It is a absolute circus when it comes to weather. I've got it sitting up high. You would say, like, I know when I drove forklifts, I always let my load down close to the ground as we were transporting. But the thing is with this it rolls so much easier. So let me get through this, and then we'll let it down. Whoa, what do we hit, a hole? Wow, what a hole. There we go, get out of that hole. People ask me how this thing rolls in different, there we go. Pretty much clear. They ask me how this thing rolls as far as on ground, and everybody always asks me about that. Well, how's it do out there? You know, it's not level. Well, I don't know how it does up big hills, but I know on level terrain it does okay. But what I will say is the stands have to be level when you go to pick them up. Sorry about the shaking around, but you're riding with me. So we're gonna stick this one here. But as far as going over rough ground and all that, the thing pushes fine as long as the tires are aired up. I hit a hole just then and it still didn't do bad. It's heavy. So just a quick talk about Boris. He was at the expo. I was excited to meet him in person finally. He brought me these new arms. We swapped my old ones. I think he did good. I hope he did good, and I hope you guys got to meet him. Boris is pretty cool. These hive lifts are out of Manitoba in Canada. beebreedingcenter.com. You can find him. I'll put the link in the description. I will put the link on this video as well. All right, I'll be right back. Let me go place this one. Tell you what, we can actually look at this little one. They've got food in there. Let's look down on this one. Well, they still got hive alive, and they're about, ooh. Well, there they come. They're right in my face too. Ooh, let me get that back on. About 3 frames of bees, so that's not bad. There's still a little bit of fondant. I'm not gonna feed them. I'm just gonna let them calm down because that would mean moving everything around. They've got a couple days worth. I gotta come back out here anyway and bring the landowner a little bit of honey. So we'll give them about 2 days to get settled. They do look better than they did the other day when I looked at them. But the other day they were still kind of clustered, so maybe they were, and I was just checking fondants, and maybe they were below the fondant, clustered underneath. I just didn't see them. So I'm happy about that. They look better than I thought. I mean, as far as size, 3 frames, they can live through that. Where's the entrance reducer in that? Well, that's strange. Well, they're in there. Huh. I know I had one in there. I had one in everything. So this yard is restocked almost. Just one more, and I'm sure I'll move a swarm or something out here, and we'll be back up to 10 out here. So we'll bring one more in here as we get closer. We'll probably throw a swarm in here or something, or I'm sure I'll split something out here. Oh yeah, they're making noise now. Yeah, they're not happy. There they go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Not a whole lot going on, but it's getting ready to pick up soon. But there we go, moving some hives. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. Appreciate you watching. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. May God bless you. We'll see y'all later.